exciting as your playing is, and I say this with all due niceness and respect, I feel the tiniest bit cheated because I so badly want you to finish the movement. It sounded wonderful. Hey, next time I hear you, don't cheat the rest of the audience, and you know I'm joking. I want to hear you play the whole movement, because you are really well on your way to it sounding, I mean, it really already sounds quite remarkable. I think my main comment would be that when you are on your own, when you're by yourself, when there's no orchestra underneath you and there's no conductor to follow, by the way, bravo, amazing. When you're by yourself, take the time that you need to show the audience and the listeners that you are an incredibly expressive musical player. And there are maybe not so many of those moments, but one of them, I'm gonna find one right now, hang on just a second. I'll give you a couple of examples so that you're, oh yeah. So the beginning of this, for instance, this wind up here, on page 14, yeah. I really like the way you played it. You reached a tempo that was incredibly breakneck by the end, but I would take your time at the beginning. It's going to be more powerful if you spend more time in a slow tempo and then get there a little bit later. It wound up too quickly. You can take these are hard, right? I mean, these right? They're fast and they're tricky. Allow yourself just a little more time, and I can almost promise you it's going to be twice as exciting. Try this build up here. Audience, see if you can tell the difference here. It's going to start much slower and really gradually build up the tempo. I know nothing's marked here, but just try it. Really exaggerate it. That's where you start playing all the sextuplets in the right hand. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, right here. Yeah. So ya da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da. And I know what you're going to ask. You're saying you're going to ask, well, I'm doing this twice. Yeah, a tiny bit. Yeah. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and dee da da dee da 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 dee da da. You're on your own here, and there's the conductor, your second pianist, will follow you. Just allow every note to really speak. Try one more time. Start a little bit less. Yeah, start even a little bit quieter. This is going to be just, even if you have to use the second finger here to get like this really martelato sound, back and forth. To me, even though that's just a brief moment in time in the piece, that makes a huge difference. All right, let's go over another spot. I think I marked another one. Let me go over this. This is totally personal. I was wondering how much is too much ritardando there, but let me see. Okay, this is a small example, but just the end of this phrase. This feels to me, very rushed. This like this is such a hard-on sleeve romantic line in the left hand. Yeah, so bring this out, and I would actually bring it out from. Just take your time at the end of this phrase. Try from, I don't know, it's 2 measures enough? At least that much. Good. Now, I'm going to go from the beginning. I want to take a little bit of time and go from the beginning and get this opening really so that it just absolutely just leaps out at us, like grabs hold of our collar and goes, watch me, watch me. I'm virtuoso, like 18-year-old Rachmaninoff, Moscow Conservatory. I'm going to show the world what an amazing pianist I am. And you're doing that. I'm getting that energy from you. But I want to make sure, I want to hear it again. I may have an idea or two about the beginning. Won't change things drastically, but may make it a tiny bit tighter. Just try the beginning again, if you don't mind, from the top, please, yeah? Thanks. There's nothing that you just did that I would say, my gosh, he is really off on the wrong path or wrong direction. This sounds really fabulous. What I would just say to tweak it the tiniest bit is to start each one of these after the hold a tiny bit less so that each one feels like you're falling. A little less. And then the second one, of course, falls much further than the first one. So there's just a little bit of, okay? Still as energetic and as fiery as you were, but just a little bit of, just again, more sense of direction, just coming back a little bit. One more time from the beginning. I know everybody's different. I love that. I don't know. I studied with a pianist in my DMA. His name was Byron Janis, and he was a student of Horowitz. Yeah?
And Adele Marcus.
And Adele Marcus, right? And he was maybe the third or fourth pianist to actually record this, with orchestra. At the end of this, I'll never forget this first recording. I think with Fritz Reinhardt. If you want, those last three octaves can be staccato. Yeah, and they make sure that they just don't get swallowed. Yeah. One more time. Why don't you just do it? Why don't you just go from? That was great. Did you feel that energy?
Yeah, starting.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit. Just a little bit of coming back. Is it weird to start here, or is it? Yeah, that's. Gets halted and stopped, and I'm left wondering for one brief second what's going to happen next, even though I know the piece really well. Of course, you know it's going to be a low octave after you arrive in this downbeat. Great. For me personally, I feel it goes downbeat, and then it rebounds off and goes to the top. What you're doing now, you know what you're doing, right? I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's wrong. It just to me feels like we suddenly reach here, and then. Hi everybody, here's a low octave, and here's the right pitch. I think it continues, and it really continues, I think, all the way to the end. And I was about to tell both of you here, at the end of his last C#7 chord, you can lift, and then just a half a second, not a lot. Just, I know officially, it's, right at the same time, but there was too much overlap, and your sound should be, of course, rich, lush strings, but less than what he runs on. And to me, it felt like there was the scenes were happening at the same time. We want to change the scenery right there, sound-wise and mood-wise. Yeah. So 2 things. We're gonna go through this, land on this low octave right away, and take your time to the top, and then cut off before orchestra comes in at the moderato. Yeah. Okay. While right on the low D sharp there. Yeah. Right number 1. Can we start take number 1 natural? Terrific. We're just making these subtle tweaks that to me it's so much more dramatic that way, yeah? Bravo. Again, one, you know, dun, 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 dun. Right? For me, that's what I love. If you're gonna team time, I would just, yeah, right on the last one. And yeah. As dramatic as your first octave at the very opening. That's it. All right. Now, for me, again, this is all so subjective, right? We all know that Rachmaninoff, especially, we all love our Rachmaninoff a certain way. We love our Rachmaninoff pianists. Only this pianist plays Rachmaninoff, right? And so what I'm telling you now is my own personal feeling about this phrase. And I think this affects both of you, but just a little bit of rubato, push and pull, but to me, a tiny bit, it was a little bit nervous, the feeling of it. And it's a big, warm embrace, right? This is like a sincere love letter, yeah? And this is, so it just I wouldn't feel the need for it to ever get anxious, yeah? Does it lean forward a little bit? Yeah, sure, but only a little bit. Try it once, right? And then I'm going to have you try later with the orchestra. We're going to start at the solo sections. Yeah, top of page 4. All right. Now, if you're playing with orchestra, and I'm in Carnegie Hall and I'm in the back row, that may have been the perfect volume, which tells it that it's a big bravo to you. Because you have a good ear, your teachers probably said play at the back row, you're playing a concerto. Yes, absolutely. In here, I know, it's you know, yes, you want to play huge, you want to play big, but what we want to know also is that you can play with a ton of contrast. And so, I know it says mezzo forte, but is there something in this phrase where we can just feel liquid, Chopin-esque, beautiful sound, and not ever feel like the sound ever gets never that. And I'm exaggerating. You don't sound like that, but it's a little bit
to like go to I don't know how to say it, but like
everything that this is my general comment about this section. Slower attack into the key. And what does that mean? It just means you need to use the arms to play more diagonally into the key. Yeah, and we are, instead of the opening, which is just as fast as possible into the key, now we're caressing the keys. Now we're thinking Chopin ballade, and never not a beautiful sound. Yeah, try it again, just a little bit calmer and a little bit softer, just a bit. Start again. Good, no more than that. Draw us into your melody. Good, now open up. Keep going. This piece that's been decades, so I would not be able to sit down and play anywhere close to the tempo you're playing. However, what I would urge you to do in these 2-measure phrases, one measure phrase, and then it's 2 measures. So we have, and what I'm doing is I'm just doing these subtle what we call hairpin dynamics, yeah? And this is not in the score, this is not in the Rachmaninoff score, but what it's doing is it's keeping your part alive while also acknowledging that you're both kind of just playing very sort of dance-like staccato, not melodic material here, yeah? And give it some shape. So if I, let me show you. Okay, so what I mean is this, just really subtle. Up and down, one bar, right? One slur. Turn the page, we then have 2 bars.
So we then have, and you go maybe all the way to here, and then back, and then same thing for the next phrase. Just try it a little bit, and do it once by yourself if you don't mind. Let's hear the sounds with just piano one. So first measure just comes up a little bit and then comes back. Good. Try it again, just a little bit slower. Just a little, yeah, and all within the dynamic, which I think is marked by this. No, is it? No count. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then later it gets louder. No louder than that for sure, right? Because you're dancing on top of the keys. But I would urge you to do that in this section, because this section has always been. I mean, it's really wonderful and it's very, very alive. But there's not like a ton for the ear to just grab onto and go, oh, that's memorable, right? We're dancing here. So make it that much more memorable. Bring out the top notes here. I don't need to do it again, but make sure those come out. Probably playing wrong notes. Those high notes there. Make sure those pop out. Okay. And then I want to try this section going. Actually, I want to try this whole section again, starting at this big opening up arpeggio here. A little bit more from you here, because I think this mezzo forte is not quite the same sound as that mezzo forte. I think this one, and if you disagree, feel free to say so, but you're it's more, it's like more like help, right? It's more a little bit more intense, yeah? Okay. So more sound in the melody here. Let's start from maybe right there. Yeah, great. This is a 2 before the octave. Perfect. There's a little bit of Gershwin Rhapsody in Blue, or feel these chords. It's embarrassing. So just use the soprano voice to really allow the line to diminuendo from the top. Okay, so first chord, and then away, and then more, and then along to it hasn't stopped yet. Good. Yeah, and not to be just look at the score and notice that it says mezzo forte, but I'm going to say that to you once this masterclass, because this is one of those places, you do end here, almost back, not quite, but almost back to, just so we're reminded of that opening. Okay. Now, next section. Same thing he actually marks it this time, doesn't he? Yeah. So bring out the left hand in this section, really the thumb of the left hand. Let me make sure I get to everything I want to tell you. Yeah, I would like to hear that from, actually, take it from, or we just stop now, and I want to hear this next section. Make sure that the thumb of the left hand here, the E, F sharp, G, F sharp is popping out a little. Yes, yeah. Make sure that's popping. Here we go. No more than that. Now, this is the one place in the whole performance that I thought both of you, but especially you, can be much lighter. Yeah. So we're coming away. It's really a sort of a long diminuendo if you look at the solo piano part. But if this can be much lighter, starting right here. Yeah. Can we start right? So we start right at number 7. Is that our place to start, or would you rather start at different?
That's fine.
Yeah, okay, and we're coming over really soft at this point, and then just pop out right. There it is, there you is just set up your, yeah, and just, first try, for click, yeah. If you can do that, you can totally play. I feel like this last thing that I'll tell you is this tremolo, it actually doesn't, it needs to be bigger and louder and badder. This is a terrible word, badder. Yeah, it needs to be like not so fast necessarily. Right, so if you're ever on your own on a tabletop, just back and forth, right? But it's the power and the energy of that. If you get 4 to a beat, I don't know, I'm at 154 here, a little faster, a little slower. Yeah? Then you turn it off and you try the same thing without metronome. Try it a little faster. Realize that it's just the back and forth and the energy and the loudness of it that will create the excitement. Don't try to play hands at the same time, and don't try to play as fast as you possibly can. I don't think that's the idea. I think it's just back and forth like that. Really enjoyed your playing so much.
Thank you so
very much for this. I really look forward to hearing this whole thing. Thank you. All right, let's do some Stephen Huff. Now, there's a lot of Stephen Huff piano music. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, have you played any other of his pieces, or is this the first one?
First one.
Because I mean, he's written big, huge sonatas and variation sets, and he's also written piano music for kids much younger than you. Like it's great that his music is being played a lot now. And this is on the list of grade 8 piano, right? I looked this up this morning. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. It's my neighbor. I looked this up online this morning. This is done in the UK as part of the grade 8 exams. Yeah? Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I'm blanking on the names. What is it?
ABSRM. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Anyway, so it's great that Stephen Huff's music is being played not just by Stephen Huff and a few of his students from Juilliard, but by students all over the place. All right, now we are, I think, is this movement 5?
Yes.
I'm turning the page. Oh, there's all the pencil markings. I see it. Okay. Now, before you play, and this may seem a little strange. Do you have any questions? Like, are there any places in this piece where maybe you're like confused about, or maybe a little frustrated by, or are you? I mean, I'm just throwing this out there as a question for you. You may not even have a question, but are there any places in this piece where you're still a little?
Yeah, I feel like I usually get tripped up at the very end.
Yeah.
Most of the time when I do.
Those last,
Yeah.
it's like 2 chords and then 3 notes, or the stuff just before that,
Just before that.
coming down from the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
the ascension and the descension.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna look at that a little bit, and I'm not gonna. I promise I won't change your fingering, but maybe there are ways that we can group this scale coming down, which will enable you to have a more clear sense of what you're playing and when, and so that you can almost hopefully play it in your sleep. But I want to hear the whole thing, but it's really good to know about the ending. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Play this a note or two missing, all right? Yeah, and just play it. This pieces you've been working on for a while.
Yes.
Okay, well then it's familiar territory. We're going to enjoy it from the beginning. Toccatina by Stephen Huff. Bravo. What was that? The ending sounded great. You're awfully modest.
Thank you.
I mean, in a good way. The ending sounded great. We'll definitely look at it. But one thing I want to mention though is just those 2 held notes there. Those correct? Voice F sharp. So connect that D natural into B natural by just so you're only holding onto the thumb, right? Everything else is just everything really short. So your right foot sneaks in here. Once you're, single note. Exactly. Do that a couple more times so you get used to it. No, that's not staccato. Off immediately. Yeah. And then. Yeah. Great. Now let's see. It's a dotted half. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Off. Digital. And what's cool about this ending is that it's very clearly. The notes are very clearly in certain places in the beat, in the measure, and it just, there's no ritornello marked. It's just like we just walk, kind of march out the door very, very quietly, turn out the lights, good night, you shut the door, yeah? In time, right? We don't take time at the end, yeah? How about so we have less, more, and then really, really quiet, try. And then soft. Good. Now, those last 3 notes.
Yeah, I didn't sound the right hand there.
What's that?
I didn't get the right hand to make it out.
All right. Well, that's okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that G? Yeah. Sorry, audience. I know this is boring. Looking at the person giving a masterclass trying to figure out the notes. There's so many ledger lines below. Here we go. G. So it is. Because you got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you could actually. But actually no. Never mind. I think your teacher would kill me. You want to look like you're hitting the last note with the right hand. Now, do it one more time. Then we'll go back to the beginning. I know exactly what I want to tell you. Yeah, hold the B natural for 3 full beats though. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. One more time. Good. Now, I want you to write it. I assume if you have any problems, is it the right hand finger coming down, or is it? Because I didn't notice anything, but I would like to.
Usually it's the right hand finger.
I see. Fingering looks great. It's these 2 measures really. This is not a big deal, right? Yeah. Do those 2 measures. Just slowly. Say it again.
It's very irregular shape.
Irregular, meaning the contour of the line. It totally is. No, you're right. No, it is. I don't think you need hours and hours and hours of this kind of practicing, but have you gone through stopping in different places every 4 notes? There I'm stopping on the second note, and then I start again. I'll stop in a different place in the groupings of 4. So I'll play. And if you go through all 4 of the notes in every 4-group pattern like this, stopping on the first note, stopping on the second note, stopping on the third, stopping on the fourth. Yeah, you may feel like, oh, this is a waste of time, and I don't play like this. Is not how the music actually goes. You're right, it's not. But what you're doing is you're using your eyes, which are essentially muscles for your brain, right? You're training your eyes to spend more time on this passage that is just giving you maybe a little of a harder time than the others. Do once, do good. Even though you play this really well, this is going to serve you, I think, really, really well in other music.
Yes.
When you start playing faster music, harder music, faster scales, this is some ways that you're going to need to practice. Try it once. You know what I did there? It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, try it. And start up where it's written, so up 1 octave, yeah? Do it one more time. Right? So just 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, see? Now listen. It's hard because you've never stopped on these notes before. You've always played it through probably from here to here, done it slowly, done it fast, done it medium, right? And so do this on every 4 notes, on all 4 notes, twice a day. Yeah? And I mean, if you do this for maybe 4 days, 5 days, a week, you'll probably be able to sort of wake up early in the morning and just sit down and feel like this passage is just like picking up a pencil or a fork or something, like no big deal.
Yeah.
So this is one way in which you practice it. Also, for everybody out there learning how to play with a lot of energy in the fingertips, yeah, the way to practice that is to what we call hold and tap. It's the tapping exercise. So you're holding the previous note and tapping the next note, lightly, completely at ease with the arm and the wrist. And so if you were going to tap through this passage, which is a little tricky, that would mean going like this. Let's see here. So you're holding the previous note, and you're right, some of the fingerings that you have here are tiny bit not unorthodox, they just 1 to 5 there is a little weird, so you want to get used to that one, doing more than the others. Going to 3 is a little tricky, do that a few more times. Yeah? And again, if you miss, then you know, oh my gosh, I really need to work on this moment right here. So it's a great litmus test for how well you know a passage. All right? Now, I got some other things I want to tell you. It's really, really good. All I'm doing is I'm fine-tuning. The jazzy chords, I think, can be a little bit more and a little bit more obvious. And let me give you an example. I think these are the examples I mean. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. This one. Even though it's mezzo piano, yeah, give a little accent on the landing on those that's my first comment is just to when you have a jazzy chord, really just make it matter. And then my other comment is, how many times do we hear it? How many times?
4, yeah.
Okay. I mean, in a way, I don't want to mess with it, but because they're all marked piano, they're all marked the same dynamic, and it's like this slightly cute little animal you see off in the far corner, and oh, there it is again, it appeared, and then it kind of runs off, and you don't see it for a minute, and there it is again. We're reminded of it 3 times, right? We hear it 4 times. And every time you come back to the opening motive, it's a little bit louder. And you may not even know it, you may not realize it, you probably don't. That's okay, but I'm here to tell you, if anything, you need to think the opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when you come back for the last time, which is the last time here? It's the bottom of this page, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. I know it's a toccata. Toccatas are supposed to be metronomic no matter what. But maybe once, the last time you play this, maybe you can play 1, 2. Let me try this. I'm going to totally flub this, but let me just try. Okay, now I didn't play the right notes, but what I did was 1, 2, 3, just into the last statement. And all it does is it shows the audience that you're thinking about this music and that you know, hi everybody, I love this melody, you're gonna hear it again, but I'm gonna set it up a little bit because this is the last time you're gonna hear it. And if we know that you're thinking that, in these 2.5 minutes that you're playing this piece, that makes, to me anyway, that makes a lot of difference. So, as weird as it seems, just try this. And if you go to your teacher next week and he says, oh, terrible idea, okay, fine. But I'm throwing it at you because you hear this 4 times, and by the 4th time, I was like, okay, here it is again. And it's not your fault, because this is the piece. But you need to make it even more believable. Okay, so here. Just try taking a little time. I know it's nothing marked, it's not in the music. Just try it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It may be hard for you to do, but let's try it a couple of times. Where's an easy place for you to start so we can get this measure? Where's a good place for you to start?
Maybe there.
Okay, all right, let's hear it. That was the idea, though. Okay, good. It was great. Great up until the fourth beat. No worries. Dun, 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 dun. You just speak into it. Now, can all this be louder?
Yeah.
This stuff, yeah, really. Try it in the same place. Yeah, at least that. That's the minimum, I would say. Yeah?
Okay.
If you're gonna take time there, yeah? 1, 2, 3. Small little thing, again, like it's such a metronomic piece all the way through. I think there could be one place where there's just a little leaning back. And it's such a cute little kind of like wink, like
Yeah.
cute moment, right? And this piece is nothing if not humorous, right? It's really humorous. And that's where, the coming back and every time you have this, make it as soft as possible. I would start, dare I say, start again and try the soft pedal just in the first two bars. Let's just hear the difference in sound. With soft pedal and without. With soft pedal once, 2 measures, and then stop, play the first 2 measures without. And it's gonna be different on every piano, to be clear, right? But let's just hear what it sounds like in here. Try it once with soft pedal. And then, okay, sorry, I'm gonna be really uptight here. You can play quieter here, yeah? If you think a tiny bit slower, a little more control of the notes, tick it, 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 tick it. It's not as fast as possible, right? Really soft. Una chorda still down, soft pedal down? Awesome, try it. Okay, stop. Good. Now, no una chorda. Same thing, but play as softly as you can. Okay, so again, this is just me, and this is my personal opinion. I didn't mind the 2 measures of soft pedal in the beginning, as long as you come off of it, I would say pretty soon thereafter. Yeah. What it does is it just gives you a little bit of cushion to come in really quietly, a little more safety net. Yeah. I don't think it totally mutes the sound and makes it sound boring or dull, right? This is already a really exciting piece. If you play really softly at the beginning, that's what's gonna matter the most. I would start, a little soft pedal at the beginning. Yeah? This whole thing about you can only use soft pedal if it says pianissimo and no soft pedal if it doesn't say pianissimo. Okay, I've seen some incredibly world-renowned pianists use the una chorda in loud moments in music, like late Beethoven, and in the music of Charles Ives, where a pianist will want a specific color and the music is not at a soft place. So don't use it as a crutch, but use it as a tool to allow the music to really just sneak in really, really quietly. Try. Score. I'm going to have to scoot you off the chair for a couple of times here, because I just want to mention one thing. Of course, in the beginning, we in the right hand, but when we get to measure 5, it's so darn cute in the left hand, yeah. And I feel like I'm hearing the scale there, and I don't mind the scale. I think it's nice, but I really think it's kind of cool too, right? That melody there. So bring that out more in the left hand, and maybe I was too loud, but what's the next note? Yeah, sure. It's this back and forth, and what's great is that it's not just a toccata with the right hand; it's toccata in both hands. And what you're doing is you're really showing that here. Yeah. Can you start right on that? On the second beat there, it's hard to start there, I know. Do it under tempo and just bring out the left hand and keep the right hand much quieter. take pianissimo, mezzo forte, and everything. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Yeah, try one more time, that's better. More left hand. Yeah. Yeah, and then again, like whenever you're trying to balance between the hands, at the piano, the way that I like to show students is that it's a similar thing to when you're, say, standing on 2 feet, leaning up against a wall. You put both hands against a wall, and what you can do is you can shift your body weight from one arm to the other, almost without anybody really even noticing it. I'm moving a little bit, I guess, but your feet stay planted on the ground, and you're shifting your body weight from one side to the next. And it's the same with piano playing. It's, if you ever want to feel it, just play a fortissimo held note in the right hand and a pianissimo staccato in the left hand, and you'll feel exactly the same thing. Just do that once. Hold the fifth, and play staccato left hand, and just feel that difference. Yeah, just everything relaxed and just nice and strong in the right hand. Just let go of the left hand. Now do the opposite and do. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Now reverse the weight and feel the energy and the weight on the left side, and take it all off, or almost all off, on the right side. Try it now. Yeah, and this just kind of flies free, and it's like, yeah. And for all you scale practicers, of which I am one, I wish I did it more often, but I do. For everybody practicing your scales, you can sit down and play C major as fast as possible every morning. But what's more interesting and what will make you a more aware and intuitive pianist is if you play one hand louder than the other on the way up, and then reverse it on the way down. And then the other thing you can do is, when you're playing your scales, is to do crescendos and diminuendos and crossfade. So one hand starts loud, the other hand starts softly, and gradually the left hand starts creeping up on the right hand and overtakes the right hand. Yeah? This is another way to practice your scales, which is more than just sort of blindly sitting down and playing quickly. Yeah. So ways in which you can become a more orchestral pianist. Yeah. A pianist that's voicing really well. This is a great way to sort of like train your acumen, to train your sort of your careful approach into the keys. All right. Yeah. Awesome. Now. Oh yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Let's go from. I want to hear some of this middle section again, because this was really fun. But I want some of these jazzy chords to come out. Somehow is it a good place to start before this? Like they're coming down here, maybe? Is that a good measure to start? Here we go. Okay, yeah, more energy. This is the loud. I think officially the loudest point yet, right? Yeah. Let go. Follow through the keys more. Play more into the key. Yeah. A tiny bit naughty, a tiny bit obnoxious. I don't know if you know the music of like Francis Poulenc or Maurice Ravel and his jazz days. Just a little bit of energy in the sound. Try it right there. More crescendo here. Yeah, crescendo. And then crescendo, much less here. I know, I just told you to play more on the jazz chords. This is one place where you want to just let it sit for a second. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, more crescendo here. This is our big arrival here. Yeah.
Okay.
Try one more time. It's hard to know where to start. You tell me. Yeah. Okay, you're the boss. You're the boss for today. Sing in the right hand. Crescendo. Two. Now more. Okay, nice. And again, like once in a while, there's just a jazzy note, right? And here's one off the right, that D sharp. Just give it a little jazzy nudge, right? It's like a flat 3 in a jazz chord, right? Yeah. Oh, good. Let's go on. Right there. Left hand. Left hand. Good. That's okay. It's different this time. That's it. Good. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Now, I know we have to stop in just a minute. This arrival here, it's almost like you got here and you thought, oh no, here comes the Baroque stuff. Here comes the fugue. No, dive in and just be proud that this is like the fugal ending, right? This is really crescendo into it, and stay energetic, at least for the first 6 bars or so. Yeah, really great. And then this is not me, right? This is your teacher. Yeah, but even here, more left hand here. This is the big statement in the left hand, isn't it? Yeah. So if you just do these, if you bring out these jazzy moments, this one like ba 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 ba, this one here, bring out the jazzy chords, linger on them a little bit longer, and just make this piece a joyful, wonderfully fun carousel ride in a way. Yeah. This is really enjoyed hearing you play this. I hope to hear you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.